A dark cloud hangs over the nation. A dark cloud is literally hanging over South Africa. A dark cloud not created by Mother Nature as we know it, but rather a cloud made up of smoke from burning of buildings in major cities and townships. Looting of people's property has become so fashionable and turned into competition between townships. The tears of women and children are evaporating into thin air that suspends this monster of a cloud. The cries of our women and children are falling into permanently deaf ears. What have the women of this nation done to deserve such cruelty? Being a woman has become a punishable sin in this country. Senzeni na, they ask. Senzeni, they keep on asking. We start the fourth episode of our off-air podcast series on a rather somber mood for obvious reasons. It is a very challenging week for our nation and the African continent in its entirety. You would remember that in the previous episode, I dedicated a significant portion of that episode to women, and I thought I was speaking on behalf of men when I said we love and appreciate the women of this country. But then how do we justify all those beautiful and colorful messages we were sending throughout the month of August if things are going to be like this, or if things are like this right now? My name is Tobegani. Welcome to Off Air Podcast Series. This is episode 4. Thank you so much for making time to listen. One of the reasons I do this podcast is to bring some humor into the trending topics of social media. But I have to admit that it is a rather difficult task right now to make fun of anything that is trending. However, I still think that in the midst of all of this chaos, we still deserve to be cheered up. I think we've seen and we've heard enough negativity all over the news and social media. So I don't want to spend too much time repeating the very same things that you've seen and heard on social media. So I'll try and focus on the lighter side, because mine is to look on the lighter side of things, because even in the midst of this civil unrest, one can always find some humor to cheer others up. So I was thinking, there are two things that I think you should try and avoid during these violent riots and looting. Number one, do not find yourself at the center of the riot. I think that one explains itself. For your own safety, do not find yourself at the center of the riot. Number 2, very important, for the sake of your reputation, do not find yourself next to a news reporter. I repeat, do not find yourself next to a news reporter during these riots, especially those reporters who are accompanied by cameramen. Don't find yourself next to those ones, because those guys will ask you a very difficult question without warning you or preparing you in advance. I think you know what I'm talking about. You saw what happened to this guy.
Explain to us what has been happening and what are you calling for?
Sister,
no. You see, greetings are very important when you are going to talk to a black man. Can't just ask questions without the proper salutations. I mean, who are you? I know, but this guy's last line sounded very threatening. That Neuring sounded very militant. But I still say greetings are very important. If you are going to talk to any of the guys on the streets, you have to greet them first. Someone needs to teach these reporters to greet our people before they conduct any of these interviews.
In a local resident who wants to say something, so Gangane nje la Alexandra uyavumelana nokuthi kwenzakalani la?
Yeah, mama unjani? Ngiyaphila mina ngikhule ngesintu ngiyabingelela.
I trust my people to put you in your place. If you're just going to jump into them without greeting, they'll put you in your place. Khule ngesintu siyabingelela before you do anything. I said you should try and make sure you don't find yourself in the center of the riot or next to a reporter. But should it happen that you find yourself next to a reporter, I think if you are smart enough, you can throw someone else under the bus. If you can't answer the question, just throw someone else under the bus. Find yourself a Baba Masango and then throw him under the bus and be safe.
But just take us through what is the plan from the community's side. Was it the fact that you wanted them out of the community and that is it? What's the plan now moving forward?
Do you know
what's the plan moving forward about in the community?
No, the plan, I can't understand it really what's the plan about that. The fact how they are related to that lady, the Zimbabwean lady, the fact, I don't know I don't understand it, how they are related to that lady of Zimbabwe, Mozambican lady.
Baba Masango has no clue. He has no plan. He's clueless, completely clueless as to what is the plan going forward. These interviews are very fun. This man is completely clueless. He doesn't know what is the plan going forward. He doesn't know what's the relationship between these people. He has no clue whether this woman is Zimbabwean or Mozambican. Clueless. Almost as clueless as our own leaders right now. The country is a mess. No one seems to know what to do, including our own president himself. It seems he has no idea on what to do or what role to play in the middle of this chaos that we're facing right now. So I'm thinking, if this was a sport, I would substitute him. He's a Mabena. Would definitely replace him with someone else right now, someone who would be able to be in charge of the situation. But then the question is who? I mean, who would be that someone else to replace him?
If you guys need a substitute, I am indeed available.
Okay, we've only got time to evaluate the pity of social media this week. And there are two issues on the table, honestly. One is the issue on the femicide that's taking place in the country right now, with women and children being brutally murdered in all spheres of South Africa. And the other one is the issue of the so-called xenophobic attacks. So these are two major issues. I felt it would not be fair to put both of them in the same episode and try to discuss both of them at the same time. So in any case, I don't want to go too much into detail because it's already out there in the media. What I want to do is to just give you my opinion on this. So today I decided I'll just give you my opinion on this one of the riots, the looting and so on, because I think that one of women abused or gender-based violence deserves an episode of its own, separate, from the beginning of the show to the end of the show. We should just go and just discuss that one.
As soon as there is a pity, then you evaluate. Evaluate is pity.
So on the evaluation of Ispiti this week, on today's episode, I chose to talk or to voice my opinion on the current riots that are taking place in the townships and Pretoria and Johannesburg and also some parts of KZN. I know that my opinion is not going to be popular to everyone. That's why it's my opinion. So I just want to share with you this, that I feel that one of the things that are at the center of this chaos is not being addressed. And that is where I feel there's a lack of leadership from our leaders, from our political leaders in particular. Because I think if you check, at the center of this whole thing is the competition for resources. That's exactly what is there. Yes, I know there are other elements, the elements of human trafficking, the selling of drugs and so on. But at the center of this, I think it's the competition for resources, because South Africans are frustrated with the unavailability of resources being mainly jobs or source of income. And to be honest, we live in a country where we have enough for everyone to be well off, to survive. But unfortunately, the resources are in the hands of very few people who just decide not to relinquish the resources for equal sharing. And obviously, we don't expect people to just relinquish their money just like that and say, let's all have equal share. So I think inequality is at the center of this thing, and inequality therefore pushes people to end up fighting for resources. And at the moment, I believe, and this is a personal opinion, it's not something that I've researched. I think with the limited economic resources that we have at our disposal, we might have just reached our carrying capacity as a country. Yeah, I told you the other day I'm running on unlimited English bundles. I'm saying we may have just reached our carrying capacity economically with the current resources that we have, which is why people are so frustrated. So the resources that we have at our disposal right now are not enough to cater for everyone that is in this country right now, be it South African or non-South African. So that is why you end up having people fighting over these resources. And that's why I'm saying we may have just reached our carrying capacity in terms of the current population and also the economic resources at our disposal. That is why people are now frustrated. And I'm telling you, if the population of this country were to be the way it is right now, but only made up of South Africans without any foreign international or foreign national, and the exposure to economic resources still being the same as the current situation right now, there would still be a riot. There would still be a riot. It would probably be a civil war. It would be a tribal war of some sort. You'd have this group fighting that group over resources, and it would look as if it's a civil war, but it's actually a war over resources. And I'm telling you, it has to do with the inequality in this country. The people who have too much, more than they need, and those who do not have are extremely impoverished. And it's actually unfair to have this to find ourselves in this kind of a situation, because we do have resources in this country, but unfortunately those resources are not readily available. They are somewhere kept by a very few people. I know I'm sounding political, but sometimes we have to call a spade a spade. And I think with the proper leadership, and I'm still repeating this one, with the proper leadership, this mess that is currently taking place in our beautiful country could end. We just need proper leadership. That's all we need in this country. We need proper leadership. That's my opinion on this matter. I know others are saying we hate Nigerians, we hate Zimbabweans. No, I don't think so. I think South Africans are just frustrated, and very often when people are frustrated, they take their frustration on something else or someone else. And I think at this point we and to be quite honest, I think we have the right to be angry. We have the right to be angry, not at foreign nationals per se, but to be angry at our government, to be angry at our leaders, who I think have failed to lead this country. Given the resources that we have, we should be able to have everyone living above the poverty line with the kind of resources that we actually have cumulatively as a country. That is my opinion. Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode of the Off Air podcast series. I do have some exciting news to share before I leave you. One is that we now have a WhatsApp line that we can use to send through our contribution to the shows, to the episodes. You can send in your voice notes if you want to feature in the show. You can also send your text messages on this WhatsApp line if you want to contribute to this show. The number is 083 466 3139. I repeat, 083 466 3139. Feel free to send your WhatsApp voice notes, or you can send your text messages to that number, and I will take your messages into consideration. I'll also play some of the voice notes if you want me to play them on the next episodes as well. Otherwise, also the Facebook page is still up there. It's available off air. Just go to the page and click like, and make sure you share with your friends as well. I'd really appreciate it if you could not keep the episodes to yourself. Click, download, listen, then share. I'm sure you've seen on the Facebook page. That's the new line that we're using on our Facebook page. Click, listen, share. Don't keep it to yourself. Feel free to communicate with us at any time that you want to communicate with us. We really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you taking your 20 minutes of your time to listen to the show. It's highly appreciated. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for the positive feedback I've been receiving lately. I do accept criticism. Just make sure you keep it constructive. Keep your constructive criticism constructive. That's the only way we are going to build and this show and make it even bigger and stronger going forward. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Tobegani, and I am out.
No, the plan, I can't understand it really what's the plan about that. The fact how they are related to that lady, the Zimbabwean lady, the fact, I don't know I don't understand it, how they are related to that lady of Zimbabwe, Mozambican lady.